Like the stress from the environment, whether it's lights, noise, the oppression that we're under, this industry is so criminalized, we're getting deplatformed every day, like all of this external stress. So all of these stressors compound, external, internal stressors. So the best that we can do is to learn tools to amplify our life force.
Welcome to Yes Podcast, where sex workers, artists, and advocates talk about the realities of the industry. You're listening to a show on Yes Network, a collection of podcasts created through Yes Work. Learn more at yeswork.org. Hey everyone, AM D here as your host today for Yes Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys know by now, if you're a regular listener, Yes Podcast is a branch podcast under the Yes Work umbrella, which is in the process of becoming a network. Right now, we're recording this episode in March, and so you'll hear this in May, and we'll probably be much further along than we are now. So it's very exciting. Can't wait to give you more details on that as it rolls out. And just a reminder that Yes Work is a nonprofit dedicating to changing public perception through entertainment and media. And if you love this podcast and you'd like to support its further growth, please donate. You can head to yeswork.org/donate. Thank you so much. Now, a big thank you to our guest, who it's a long overdue episode that we're having today. I have Mari de Luna in the room with me. Can you please say hello, Mari?
Hey everyone, happy to be here.
Hi. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you. Can you please, before we get into it, because we have so much to talk about, can you please tell everyone what your pronouns are and do you identify as a sex worker or not?
Yes, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So my pronouns are she, they, ella, and I do identify as a sex worker.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing. Thanks. Thanks again for being here. I know we were going to do this before and we had to reschedule. I can't remember why. That happens all the time, by the way. And I just love that we always in this community seem to figure it out and make it happen in the end, So thank you for that, for coming back and trying again. So excited to have you here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to give the audience a little background. This isn't the first time we've met or anything, right?
No.
Right.
We go back.
Yeah. So we met, just to tell people, we met through Strippers United. I was living in California at the time. You were living way clear across the country. And I will always remember the first phone call we had. Do you remember that phone call?
I do. I was so curious to know how I could get involved and who can tell me, who can guide me a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was you.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember just feeling like you were a kindred spirit, on that first call. I remember feeling that way about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. And now I'm here. We're closer. We've met in person. We've been around each other in person more than once. And I was just so grateful coming across the country and being able to have community, somebody. So that was really great.
Yes. Oh my God. Talk about community.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna dive deep into that.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really important.
Definitely. Agree. Speaking of community, I really want to kind of get right into things. I do want the audience to learn a little bit more about you, Mari, where you come from as far as why you're showing up the way you are today. What has your journey been like? And if you could just kind of give us a little bit of information on you, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God. This need to be talking about forming community really is out of necessity. It truly is out of necessity. I am estranged from my family, and as you know, being a sex worker is so highly stigmatized, and everything compounds when you're in isolation. I've had unfortunate experiences where I've, been in alliance with other organizations that unfortunately haven't been aligned. And so this is now why pulling resources, I'm learning from people like you. I've heard you speak on podcasts about the importance to prepare ahead, prepare for cycles where, work isn't as active, or whether we have chronic illnesses, whether we have mental disabilities, right? So it is so incredible, vital for a sex worker. Did you hear me? Vital. It is vital that we have communities that support us.
Yeah.
Because we are stigmatized, we are criminalized. And so I have been just pulling resources from everybody, from wherever I can. And my hopes is that people who are coming new into the industry will have better tools to create their communities and to lean into one another. I have never been exposed to what it means to be in mutual aid or receive mutual aid from another person who is not related to you. It's not family or blood related. But the way I have seen how we show up for each other in our communities has transformed this idea for me. This is why I keep saying it's vital that we have communities that are allies and that understand the struggle that goes on in our industry.
Yeah, definitely. And the struggles really vary from person to person based on intersectionality, with also being a sex worker. Because there's tons of, as you know, of course, there's tons of marginalized groups of people that are also intersect with being a sex worker. And that's something that you can speak on firsthand.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you'd want to share that is also considered vital to understand and be aware of as we move forward doing this type of work?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm part of different identity groups. So I identify as an immigrant, as a neurodivergent person, and as a sex worker. And all of these compound. Also, having some financial issues in the past have put me in not so desirable situations. And when you look at it through a harm reduction lens, it goes back to safety planning, to having networks that can be your foundation. And yes, the more marginalized identities you have, then that presents more of a vital foundation for you to have your communities, to know your rights, to know other ways that you can supplement income, to have support groups where you can speak about your mental health. So this has all come through my community of sex workers.
Yeah.
I have not been able to find any of the support in any other communities.
Outside of the sex worker community, you mean?
Right. Yes.
Do you have a theory? Do you have a working theory or understand why?
Well, I'm thinking it's because people don't, this the stigma that exists around sex workers.
Yeah.
We are so against people's biases, people's
Yeah.
image. Mhm.
It just continues to confound me
And
that even in marginalized spaces that you don't feel the comfort that you do in sex worker spaces.
yes,
You
yes. And,
know?
I think once you put the label on it that you navigate, you exist as a sex worker, people have skewed ideas as to how they can help you. Um, there is, I have been learning what it means to be in, like, how to be in power with rather than power over or power under when it comes to being in community, when it comes to distributing resources, distributing the wealth, right? Wealth, whether it is knowledge that you have, or it's actual cash. And there's so much to say there, because even for me, I've been working on my own privileges, right? And when it comes to, I carry certain privileges, but still with that, I want to be in community where we are in power with each other. And so that means how do I stay empowered? How do I stay rooted in who I am, and always inviting people to exercise their choice and their autonomy? And I think it's where some people they kind of slip up with their trying to save someone else when it comes to help. So that is a concept that, I think it takes time to pick apart and to unpack what it means to be in community and to be in power with the other ones.
Yeah. Sort of like rejection of hierarchy in
Yes.
general,
Yes,
irregardless of the situation.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay. There's some synchronicities happening here
I
over
love
the
it.
last couple of days, that where my mind has been at and what you're saying and what I've been questioning about myself recently, self-examining. And I have this ability to sort of sort through bullshit.
Mhm.
And I've learned recently that that's a skill that I have, so that I can give that back to my immediate community, whatever that is, my friends, my family, like the sex worker community, so that I can kind of like weed through the stuff. And it helps me realize that like each one of us has a unique skill. I know we've heard this before, right? This is not a new concept, but I'm talking about a deeper inner working concept of how
Mhm.
we energetically and spiritually show up. And so I've kind of had this aha moment about how I've been showing up, and I'm like, oh, it's not that so and so isn't on my level, because I'll be real, like I have to break down my own hierarchy constructs that are within me from conditioning. It's not that they're not on my level, they're just on this other level, and I'm not on that level that they're on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so, therefore, we are equal in the end, because they have some secret superpower stuff that I don't even know about or have. But we
Mm.
need that person and that person, that person in community, even if they're not like on the level of like being outside of conditioning, or not being where I expect people to be, you know? And so
Mhm.
I think like deconstructing that within yourself, like as individuals, if we could all do that more, maybe we could find more ways to deconstruct hierarchy,
Yes.
which exists like almost everywhere we go.
Uh-huh. Yes, it is. It is everywhere, as you said.
Right.
It does take that personal work
Right.
to get really curious
Mhm.
to, all right, yeah, we're in here, we're in the same or similar struggle, or even to like assume, right, that we
Yeah.
are in similar struggles. Yeah, I think this is a dance for me that I will be in for a long time,
Right.
understanding, well, hey, this is coming up for me. There's something internally to look at and unpack.
Yeah.
But it's part of growth, and I welcome that. I think those are
Yeah.
true signs of leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for letting me get that all out, because I haven't really talked about it to anyone yet. It's just been kind of rolling around up in my noggin for the last 48 hours. And then what you're saying is just like, oh my gosh, this is why I was thinking about it when I was thinking about it. That's why I'm using the word synchronicity. Yeah, because I'm just kind of on this kick right now of like really listening to messages from the universe, you know?
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the intuition. It
Yeah.
speaks to you in so many different ways, right?
It really does.
How do you usually listen to the universe? I'm curious.
I think like the synchronicities, like what I'm saying now, like when things just like curiously seem to line up out of nowhere, because I'm of the belief that there's no such thing as a coincidence, that things happen that they're supposed to happen the way that they happen, and nothing is by accident. And so if something is matching up, like curiously, like
what I've been going through and the words that were tumbling out of your mouth, to me, that's like, oh, that's a sign that I was thinking about these things at that time so that I could be prepared for this moment in this conversation.
Wow. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that it came up so organically.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I'm like, would love to have more conversations like this, like every day with like strangers, it'd be so great just to get deeper,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so great. I think that's why I love, still doing this podcast. We're in our 6th year right now because
Yeah.
we get to have these types of conversations and archive these types of conversations.
Okay. Can we take a moment here?
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah. Thanks.
yes.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks. Yeah.
beautiful work.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while now. So, yeah, it's really great. And I just love that. I don't know. I just feel like it keeps growing and having conversations like this is so moving. So, thank you.
Yeah, it's like showing the other side of a person in the industry. And I think
Right.
this is what the general public needs more of, to see the human side of us.
And not just the human side, but like the emotionally intelligent, like the highly emotionally intelligent side, which I believe almost all sex workers have a high emotional intelligence level.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. I think that's one of the requirements to be a sex worker, right? Keeping in mind that, I mean, to me, the way I see it, this is intimacy work, which
Mm,
requires to be embodied, to be present in your body and attuned to somebody else in the room. So definitely it requires to have this emotional intelligence, and to be able to connect with somebody else.
yeah. Yeah, like I just wish like I have these fantasies of the sex worker conferences are no longer about having to protect our rights because we already have them, right? This is a fantasy, right? And then our sex worker conferences are about what does education look like? You know what I mean? Because like if sex workers could teach the world, or if we could vote on and decide and help create the way that we educate youth and beyond, like I just see a
Mhm.
totally different world. I imagine a completely different environment.
Yes. I'm holding that vision for us. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I think it's just all this stuff just it's going to take forever. And I think so much. I look back to our ancestors who've done this work and who are no longer with us. And like, will we die the same way with people
Yeah.
behind us having to continue to carry the torch, and highly likely. It's
Yes.
highly likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for mentioning ancestors, because I definitely lean into that, connecting to my ancestors.
Yeah.
And I feel a sense of belonging, a strong sense of belonging. And it has been from communing with my ancestors,
Yeah.
understanding my own lineages and histories has given me more certainty and a more like a different way of navigating life as a sex worker, knowing that, hey, I have histories, I have lineages, I have legions of people who came before me and are supporting my vision. And then I know that you're leaving a legacy behind by the work that you're doing. Like, God, this
Yeah,
is
I
like a
guess.
beautiful circle moment of like
Yeah.
ancestors in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess I didn't ever view myself as one of those people, but I guess the longer you do this work, that eventually, you put your stamp on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's what a journey it is. Oh my gosh, Mari, I'm just like brimming with joy right now. Today was such a
Mm.
slow, quiet day, and now it's like my feathers are all puffed up in the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So we're talking about community a lot, but some people don't really feel like they're in community. And isolation is something that some people deal with in our industry, in our line of work. And I'm just wondering if we could talk about like how does it limit not just social connections, but also safety and access to resources when people feel isolated, like they can't just reach out and grab community.
Oh, yeah. Being a sex worker just has barriers to entry to all of the normal life of a vanilla person. And again, because why? Because it's highly stigmatized, and it limits access to healthcare, it limits just authenticity. There's so much that we have to censor in just doing basic things. So imagine, right, when you find the right person, the right community, the right group of individuals, because we don't only need one person, we need a multitude of people who are allies, who are co-conspirators, right? That hey, I had a bad date. Are you available to listen to me, to just, be there on the phone with me? And this is something if you don't have the right kind of person, then what happens? We just feel more and more isolated, and all of these issues compound. They have a severe effect on mental health to feel alone. Yes. You like I keep saying the same thing, and it's just so vital.
Yeah, and what is the solution for someone who is feeling isolated? What would you say to someone who's experiencing isolation?
Yeah, well, I would say start with communities online that are very vocal about sex worker rights. Vet them just as you would vet another community, another provider. You need to vet the communities that you're entering. And yeah, just slowly show up and integrate into what they have available for you. But also taking it upon yourself to form communities locally, to like there is a tool that is called a pod mapping, which means you start with one or two people and that they become the people that you go to for, emotional support or will have you. And then you slowly start growing that circle. You start looking at maybe organizations, institutions, and then that way you will slowly form a support network, right? That they have resources available that you can benefit from.
We love doing this work, maintaining a platform for sex workers to tell their stories, entertaining and educating the public. If you love our podcast, please consider donating. We are now a 501c3, so your donations would be considered tax deductible. Go to yaswork.org/donate and easily send us some support to help keep this podcast going. That's yaswork.org/donate.
What I want to really get into too is like, what about your work? Because your work is considered a resource for people, right? Who are maybe feeling this way. Before we do that, like I would like for the audience to understand like what's your background as far as the studying that you've done to get to this point that you are now, and what inspired you to go into that line of education and now work.
Yes, thank you. So I'll start with saying that as I guess late in life, I found out that I'm neurospicy. I have different types of neurodivergencies, all under the umbrella of, let's say I have autism, CPTSD, ADHD, and other neurodivergencies. So I didn't know. I just thought that this was personal traits and why not. But I turned into cycles of burnout, chronic burnout, that actually led me to addiction. And so I am proud to say it's been 4 years living a sober life or sober-ish life. And what has helped me a lot has been somatic practices. I also study a modality that is called neurosomatic intelligence, and it combines applied neurology and somatics together to bring a more customized practice for you. So it's very individual to your nervous system. And that has helped me tremendously when it comes to having a better relationship to myself. And so from that point on, I said, hey, I need to let people know this exists. And battling from dissociation and trying to be embodied, trying to be more authentic, is diving into the somatic world. It's all about the body. It's all about finding practices that work for you. And this is what I invite people into, like with curiosity, to start relating to the body in a different way. And I find it very rewarding. My relationship to my body is the best that it has been. And I also have, I have a daughter who I talk to about my practices. And so that is my message. That is my message. And I have, my practice is for anyone who wants to get into a better relationship with themselves. I do support people in their sober-ish journey. And I'm excited to bring more and more of this to the community.
Can you explain what somatic is to people who might not understand that?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Somatic means body-based. It's body-based exercises and practices. So there is some query or self-inquiry that I work with, but it's mainly body-based. So there is no need to talk about histories or to talk about trauma, perhaps. We leave that for the therapist. And in practice with me, we experiment with different types of stimulus and see how your body's reacting. Sometimes we're overstimulated, and what we need is some inhibition. Sometimes we are understimulated, so we would need more stimulus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really beautiful because it's very customized. So what works for me may not work for the other person. So that's why it's a framework where you understand what your baseline is. And then, you're able to tell this stimulus is good for me, or I need more stimulus, or I need less stimulus. So I find that really, really effective.
Is it tactile? Like, is there contact?
Can I show you one?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that you asked.
Yeah, I'm so curious. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have here
Okay.
essential oils. This
Uh-huh.
is an essential oil, and this is lavender.
Mm.
So what I do, I already know that my body reacts really well. For example, if I'm feeling a little bit agitated, or there is something that, for example, I want to feel a little bit more present in the moment, I can grab this and I'll bring it to my nose. I know that the right nostril reacts better than the left nostril. And this is because I've tested it many, many times. So what I do, I just bring it closer to me.
Uh-huh.
I take a nice big whiff of it.
Okay.
I let my system take it in, take the stimulus. We're stimulating the olfactory system, which is cranial nerve 1. I know this is a lot of need to know this, but these are systems that are in our nervous system. And so by doing that, I already feel a shift. I already feel my voice kind of got a little bit lower, and I can slow down. Maybe there's a little bit more sense of grounding. I can feel my feet on the floor. So it was just a very short stimulus that I brought to my body, and I'm able to see the shift inside.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's
Thank
just,
you.
one example where there are tons and tons of different exercises.
Yeah. I love that. That's so interesting. Yeah. So you do events around this type of practice,
Yes.
right? You've done some already and you have one coming up, right?
Yes. Yes.
Can you,
Mhm.
yeah, please tell us about all of them, the past and the future. Yeah.
I love doing it in collaborations with others. There's just for me to be in collaboration with another person, I feel it is such a beautiful way to display different skills, as you were saying, right? Like we all bring different skills. We all bring not only our lived experience, but we have other hobbies, other experiences that we know other people can benefit from. So in the past, I have linked with, there was a sex educator that I linked with, and we did something around the erotic in a sober-ish living. So what does it mean to be in your erotic state without using substances or having a different relationship to substances? And so that was really personal to me because when I was stripping, I had to drink. I had to drink alcohol to feel, to get into the mood. And I mean, no shade, no shade, no shade at all. But I had, I didn't have a good relationship with alcohol at the time. So it got to the point where by learning these practices, now I can have intention around the substances I use. So that was that workshop. It was really beautiful in the sense that people came really curious about, oh, what does it mean to be curious or to explore the idea of dropping into your erotic being without having to having to resort to other substances. So that was one workshop. Then there was another one. So the one that is coming up on the 11th is joining forces with a financial expert who is also a therapist. They're in a network where they provide services to sex workers. So this person is culturally fluent in what goes in sex work, and they're an expert in financial freedom. They have anti-oppressive financial tools, which I think is amazing. And so, yeah, we're going to be talking about creating community that is aligned, these resources that are towards financial freedom and safety planning. And then I'll come in with my somatic framework. So just teaching people a few set of tools so they can go home and they have these tools in their back pocket for when, like I need these tools when before I sit down to do my numbers, to pay my bills, or to even budget, or to look at anything that has to do with numbers. I have to regulate my nervous system before, during, and after.
Hey,
Yes.
I need to do that with social media
Yes.
before, during, and after.
Yes, right? Visibility.
Yeah.
I had to do it before coming to this podcast.
Okay.
Lots of regulation.
Yeah, I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's because I'm older, and so I notice it's harder to, it's like I can't ignore that I need the regulation. Does that make sense? Like, for instance, when I was in my 20s, I could ignore how bad it felt when I was coming down from cocaine because I was still young enough, right?
Yes.
But now, and I could ignore what I was feeling, my nervous system, because I was young enough. And
Yes.
now that I'm older or wiser, using air quotes if all you're doing is listening, and also hormones like perimenopause. And so like I
Yeah.
have no room for dysregulation of my nervous system.
Yes.
And I'm moving slower, and when I notice that I'm dysregulated, I'm like I actually notice it now. I don't just put it in a little box and store it somewhere.
Yes, I hear you. And it all compounds this stress, right? Like the stress from the environment, whether it's lights, noise, I mean, the oppression that we're under, this industry is so criminalized, we're getting deplatformed every day, like all of this external stress. Then we have internal stressors, like, maybe we didn't sleep well. You're talking about hormones. I'm aging as well. Like perimenopause is a huge change, systemic change. So all of these stressors compound, external, internal stressors. So the best that we can do is to learn tools to amplify our life force. The way I see it is our first line of defense between us and the oppression, right? The more we can plump our vitality, the better we can resist. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just writing down what you said, which it will be the title of this episode. Incredible. Yeah, it's just this conversation is so timely for me and I hope for others because we all, I think our nervous systems are just getting fried with the constant news and not only the news, because I think we all predicted the sex workers, like predicted what's happening, like we kind of knew and saw this coming, but also the fact that like it's so far and we weren't listened to and it's like so disappointing.
Yeah.
I hate using that word. I really don't like that word, but it is so okay, frustrating. Let's use that because I don't
Yeah.
think we ever expected anything. I really don't think we had expectations, but frustration, and I feel like that's kind of reverberating through the community right now, very specifically through the Black and Brown community, who have been saying these things for a long time. And now here we are in this huge quagmire. And like, what would you say to our community people out there who are, what we're experiencing because you're one of us. So like, what is a framework for like these current events, right? Of what we're going through, like that could be helpful to others.
Yeah. Well, I'm finding for myself is really taking care of my body, really taking care of my mental health.
Yeah.
Again, the community thing it's just vital. Really,
Yeah.
it is front and center
Yeah.
for us to stay alive, really. Know your rights. Know your rights and yeah, like prepare for slow cycles, prepare for times where you are not able to work as much. Or for example, I'm actually shifting a lot of the work I do because I'm aging, because of my chronic illnesses, because it is time to diversify my sources. And so I think that is the best way that I would tell people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also curious about because you have so much powerful messaging and like the work you're doing is so necessary, it's like brain medicine having this conversation with you for me anyway. I know that English is your second language.
Yes.
How often are you in spaces where you feel like you can speak Spanish to your Spanish speaking community members? Because there's so many out there, and I'm in a bubble personally. I'm in America. I speak English. I target English speaking, but I think about our other comrades out there that speak different languages all the time, and I'm just wondering, can you share with us what that's like, and are you talking to them, and do you have insight on that?
Yeah, I recently joined a NJ Rua. I'm sure, yes,
Yeah.
you had them.
Yeah. I know them. Yeah.
So I am in community with them. I literally joined them last week. So I am hoping to expand on the ground. They have beautiful projects of outreach projects, which I'm super excited. They have a project around peer support. They will be going to the CSW next week. in New York. I don't know if you know about it.
CSW. I'll look it up real quick.
Okay.
Sex worker conference, I'm guessing.
It is something about women's rights. Commission
Because-
Status of Women. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the
So,
one.
yeah, is that their Oh yeah, they have the Animal Commission, United Nations Commission Status of Women
Yeah.
in New York. Yes, it's the United Nations event. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yes. And so
Mhm.
they will be going there to network to speak about, our cause.
Yeah,
And we'll be going there to network with them. So
amazing.
my whole purpose is to expand the network,
Mhm.
to spread the word about what we're doing here and to be connected.
Does it make any sense on this platform to share a message with our Spanish speaking comrades from you to them? Does that make sense? To send them something? I mean, I know that we're an English speaking show, but I'm just I would like to be inclusive.
Yes, like right
Sense?
now. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
Just checking in. Okay. Yeah. What would you say to our Spanish speaking comrades in Spanish, just about the work that you're doing and what they mean to you and what community means, like the things that we've been talking about here a little bit. If you could synopsis that and if you could summarize, what would you say to them? And please speak in Spanish. Yeah.
Gracias, AM, por dar la oportunidad no solamente de mandar un mensaje a la comunidad que habla español, pero también para que sepan que está bien, que tenemos visibilidad y está bien de que hay personas que nos apoyan, hay personas que están acá para ayudarnos, para darnos una mano y que no estamos solos, que hay oportunidades de crecer, hay oportunidades de ayudar el uno al otro. Em, este network de Jazz Work tiene muchos recursos que son vitales, que son muy importantes para la existencia de todos los trabajadores sexuales. So, mi invitación para ustedes es que estén conectados, que me pueden alcanzar también en Instagram, en Stilettos for Survival. Y vamos a poner esa información más tarde, pero el mensaje es de que estamos aquí para proveerles ayuda. Thank you, AM.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I caught little pieces of it, but I'm still learning. I just want to go over, you keep talking about the vitality and the important, how vital it is for us to be in community with each other. Can you just be frank with us and tell us why you think that?
Oh gosh, I have been in so many situations where I really wish there was somebody to listen. And AM, you have been one of them. I have reached out to you with things that it's not easy to share. So you know how important it is to have somebody who is in your corner. And I just want to encourage it. I just keep talking about the community because it's just really important, especially for someone who doesn't have access to their blood family or to other resources, someone who is perhaps alone in this country even, or there's just so many layers that, I encourage everybody to vet their communities, to reach out, to lean into your communities.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is so important because everything is changing so quickly. And as we talked about earlier with the intersectionalities of marginalization, it compounds. You use that word compounding, and so I think this is a very scary time to be in our line of work. It's
Yeah.
very scary, and we're definitely going through a transition. And I am seeing more civilians talk about sex workers in the light that we've been begging them to do for so long, and they're just now doing it in 2026. But it is still very precarious, and I think that's why for me I see your work as so important to continuing to encourage community. And I really appreciate the note about vetting as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you never know. There's a
Yeah,
lot of community out there. And I do want us to make sure that we cover about Stilettos for Survival. What exactly, like, what is the main mission goals of Stilettos for Survival? I just want to close out on that, how people can find it, find you, and when are the times that they should be reaching out to you, things like that.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Stilettos for Survival exists to bring resources to sex workers and people who are in the adult industry doing this work consensually. I also offer one-on-one coaching for those of you who want to find somatic practices. So, again, body-based practices to bring relief, to break cycles of burnout. There are vitality resources there. When should they reach out? Really, whenever there is curiosity. I am involved in different communities. I could point people to explore the different communities that are out there. I am on Instagram, so feel free to DM me. You could also send an email directly to me at maddie@maddiedeluna.com.
Nice. Thank you so much. Do you feel like we covered everything? Is there anything you feel like that's missing that you'd like to mention before we say goodbye to the audience?
No, I think we did cover everything. I'm
Okay, great.
very, very pleased. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been such a meaningful, like, in-depth conversation. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome having you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, AM.
You're
Really.
welcome. Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes Podcast began as Yes, a Stripper Podcast with original hosts AM Davies, Onyx Sachi, Gigi Holiday, and Daisy Ducati. Visit yaspodcast.com to learn about our hosts, our story, and comb through our archives of transcripts. You'll also find episodes as far back as 2020. That's yaspodcast.com. Yes Podcast is a part of Yes Network, a collection of podcasts created through Yes Work.